Because of the heavy traffic on the roads and the need to get to work on time, you must have all thought that flying in a helicopter would be better. On the other hand, most people will never be able to afford to fly every day in a helicopter. But you can't say that about famous people, leaders, or prime ministers. They'd rather take their private chopper than a car to get where they need to go. But have you ever thought about how much a helicopter costs? Does it cost as much as we think it does, more or less? Let us find out. There's no question that helicopters are a convenient way to get from one place to another. It goes without saying that a private helicopter ride is faster than driving, especially when going between cities, businesses, and airports. A luxury helicopter is also a great way to travel in comfort and style, whether you need it for work or pleasure. Find out how much different types of helicopters cost on average, and in what price band they fall in. When looking at how much a helicopter costs, the first thing you should usually do is decide if you want a small two-seater or a bigger model with more seats. The Robinson name is one of the most well-known helicopter brands in the world, but at the same time, Bell makes more helicopters than any other company, mostly because their B-206 Jet Ranger is so famous. People know that Robinson planes are cheaper to buy and run. There are many used helicopters that can be bought for as little as $50,000. The average price of a used chopper is $1.5 million. Prices for helicopters range from a single-seat kit that costs $50,000 to build yourself to one that costs $30 million and has a bathroom inside. With such a wide range of prices for both new and used helicopters, there is one to fit every budget. Of course, a bigger and newer chopper will cost more. A Robinson R-22 helicopter costs $318,000, while a Robinson R-44 helicopter costs $475,000. There is also the Robinson R-66, which costs about $900,000. There must be at least $3.2 million in your pocket if you want to buy a brand new expensive helicopter. It's possible for the new Bell 407 chopper to cost that much. For at least half of this price, you can get a used Bell 407 helicopter. The new Bell 407, on the other hand, is the height of luxury. It is generally thought to be one of the best helicopters in the world in terms of performance and design. The B-407, which is designed to transport VIPs, has a sleek, all-black interior with Italian leather and executive-style seating. Something funny about helicopters is that some of them cost less than a Lamborghini, and some cost more than a jet. Everyone should know that airplanes cost a lot of money. But do you know the reason? We can explain this in many ways, since the blades that airplanes use only cost about $30,000 each. Helicopters have to meet very strict safety standards, just like business airplanes. Each part is carefully planned, calibrated, and tried to make sure it works perfectly. The cost of making even the smallest part goes up because of all the testing that needs to be done. Most of the time, helicopters cost more than fixed-wing airplanes that can carry the same amount of people or goods. Helicopters cost more because they have more moving parts. The transmission, rotors, engine blades, and fuel control systems are all very important to how the chopper works. Also, the engines that helicopters use cost a lot of money. A turbine engine is more expensive than a regular small rotating piston engine. Not only that, but the engine of a Bell 407 chopper costs about $900,000. The helicopter will also cost more the more study and tests are done on it. This is where we learn how much helicopters cost and why they are so pricey. Now let's talk about what else costs extra when you buy a private helicopter. Because it's not enough to just buy the helicopter. You need to have money for some other things too. Will you fly the helicopter by yourself? That's the main reason you need extra money. If you want to buy a helicopter, this is the most important thing you should think about. You will need a pilot to fly you wherever you want. If you want to hire a private pilot, the average cost will be about $9,400 per month. That's about $112,000 a year. This extra cost will go down though if you fly your private chopper by yourself. To do this, you will need to get a license and learn how to fly a chopper. You'll need at least 45 hours of training spread out over 12 months, so it helps if the flight school is close by. The price of training varies from school to school, but you can expect it to cost around $26,000. This pays for your tests, exams, flight time, medical gear, and fees at the airport. Before we move on with the fuel costs, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button to never miss out on the latest and greatest in the world of luxury. Fuel. It will cost you more to get the pilot's license. The fuel is the next thing you need to pay for. How much do you need? How much will it cost? It's likely that the piston-powered engine in the helicopter you own or want to buy will use at least 6 gallons of fuel per hour and maybe even 16 gallons. This is why helicopters and flying in them are so pricey, as well as the fuel they need, which is also very pricey. But when you see that it uses 16 gallons of fuel an hour, you might not think that since it is smaller than a jet, it needs less fuel. Also, we haven't talked about helicopters that are driven by turbines. What do you think the fuel needs for these jet engines are? About 20 gallons of fuel are needed by these helicopters every hour. If we find out how much fuel each chopper needs every hour, we will have to pay a lot of money. That means these will almost certainly cost you between $2,700 an hour. But how long can you travel? First, let's look at the H-125. This is a medium-range helicopter, and it's easy to fly 350 miles without stopping to fill. This amount is not enough for you to own your own plane. More than just the helicopter itself costs a lot of money to own. You also have to pay for a helipad or landing place, insurance, and other things. It's the same as paying taxes when you fly in a chopper. You will also have to pay to land your chopper. It will cost even more if you have to leave your chopper somewhere to wait. The fees for standby are about $200, and the fees for arrival are about $250 to $300. It will also cost you a lot more to insure the chopper. In the same way that I said before, flying is like paying taxes. So once you buy a chopper, you'll have to pay at least 7% in taxes for things like fuel, a pilot, landing, and more.